Yeah. Also, I love the quote from Arnold. Come on, do it. Kill me. I'm here.
That was pretty good.
Very good stuff. Thank you. I hurt my throat doing that.
I finally
Watched.
I finally
Watched.
I
finally
watched. I
finally
watched.
I finally
Watched.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of I Finally Watched. This is David.
And this is Alon, and we finally watched all the way through Predator. This episode is sponsored by Off Script Clothing, a fashion line by influencer Tyler Budden, inspired by iconic movie costumes that give recognizable versions of movie clothing while staying away from cosplay.
Think cinematic streetwear, shirts, jackets, and hats for movies like Blade Runner, Fight Club, and more.
Visit offscriptclo.com. That's offscriptclo.com or at off_script.clo on Instagram. Links down below.
I actually told my dad today that I was disappointed in him as a son and my brothers as a brother because they didn't force me to watch this movie. And that there's a
This
good
movie is surprisingly good.
and it could have had a negative impact on my masculinity because I think this is like a core text for growing men, this movie.
Well, we know something had a negative impact on your masculinity.
Look who's talking. So the other thing about this movie is you could very easily remove the alien and just make it like a badass dude. Like the sci-fi elements of it are like almost the least part of it. You know what I mean? Like
Well,
the movie plays like this patriotic war movie, all the way down to like the score, and then it's like, oh, and by the way, they're being chased by an alien, a badass alien.
you said something interesting a couple days ago before before I watched it. You were watching it and you were like, I wonder what the trailers and the teasers for this look like originally. Did they give up that it was an alien right off the bat? And I can see why you asked that, because you could go pretty blind into this movie and not see that it's the Predator for like at least definitely the first hour of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, this movie almost seems like when you start watching it that it's like a Commando prequel, or it's a like, oh, Rambo did really well. Let's make
I was gonna say Rambo, because the beats are almost identical to Rambo. Like at least definitely Rambo 2.
yeah, not Rambo 1. Not Rambo 1. But
No.
yeah, definitely 2.
The Predator's being judged by the townsmen.
It tries to
Imagine Rambo, but instead of Sylvester Stallone, it's Predator.
Well, no. So Dutch is the sheriff, and the Predator is Rambo coming in, and he's like, I don't like the way those dreads look. We don't have people that look like that in this town. You're gonna have to take you to the bridge and get you out of here.
Yeah, he drives him to the bridge.
Which, by the way, one of the funniest fun facts that I found that I'll just say at the top is John McTiernan, the director, wants to make it clear that the Predator's dreadlocks are in no way a signifier of racial ethnicity. So he's like, just because they're dreads doesn't mean he's black.
Well, what's that movie where Gary Oldman has dreads? It's
True Romance.
True Romance, right?
Yeah.
I think that proves right there that any ethnicity could have dreads.
Well, Predator probably was just like right before this went on holiday in like an island country.
In like Jamaica.
Yeah. And just vacation. Well, so I had seen this movie, parts of it, right? And what the parts I had seen are the middle section. So
Mhm.
going into this movie,
Yep.
I thought everyone died.
Oh, really? No, I knew Arnold made it. I knew it.
Well, and it's so obvious that Arnold was not going to sign on to a movie where he dies, right?
But aren't you surprised Carl Weathers did, though? Especially
No.
how big Carl Weathers was back then.
Yeah, I will. So Carl. So this was a Schwarzenegger vehicle, and originally it was going to be just him versus the Predator, and it was his idea to add in a team. which is a great idea. Like the beginning of this with the whole crew is probably some of the best parts, right? And then they added Carl Weathers because they wanted more like gravitas in the acting roles. Because I mean, I think this is Jesse Ventura's first part.
Mhm.
Sonny Landham, who plays Billy, who I don't think is a Native American, but plays a lot of Native American parts. So the funny thing I read about him was,
Problematic.
well, he had more problems with that. The studio's insurance company would not insure him unless a bodyguard was hired for him, for the sole purpose of protecting other people from Sonny. That was
Wow.
his reputation. So I think they added Carl Weathers specifically because he's probably the best actor in this.
So I heard that they added Shane Black because they shot pretty much on location, right? In the jungle. It was kind of bare bones and stuff like that. They needed um an a fluent writer on set. And the easiest way to do that was to make him one of the commandos. And I'm pretty sure that's why he died first.
Right, yeah, they wanted someone, if they needed to rewrite and stuff, they wanted his help on it. Yeah, and there's only what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's like 12 people, and then like 6 others, like uncredited people who die at the camp. And one of the 12 is like
I didn't even think there was that much,
the
honestly,
predator.
but okay.
Yeah, like it's a very, very small cast, and it's just them in a jungle. And I wonder if filming it too, it's kind of like this. What the fuck is this thing we're doing? You know, like can you
Well,
tell it's going to be good?
they they had to have, like, in the commercials or like the marketing for this movie, they had to have said, like, I mean, even the title of this movie, I kept thinking, if they were hiding the predator, they were hiding the alien element of this, then what what did audience think, like, why was this movie called Predator? And then I was like, oh, the woman showed up, and then they were like, oh, sexual predator.
So according to, because I didn't watch the trailers, I didn't go and do that because life. But according to Google's AI, while not marketed as a complete surprise, the '87 Predator film relied on surprise element of its action movie premise to shock audiences. The trailers film did reveal an alien was involved, but leaned heavily on Schwarzenegger's reputation as an action star. So I think they hid it mostly, but they didn't, like, they weren't hiding the fact that it was in there, but it just wasn't revealed until you saw the
Interesting.
movie.
Also, back then, I don't think people had their finger, like, so close to the pulse like they do now with, like, analyzing movies, breaking them down, stuff like that.
Correct. There wasn't the internet to have 1,000 people talk about something. Also, the trailers though were,
10 things you might have missed in the Predator trailer.
I gotta find. So when I first watched Heat, it was like my brother's DVD copy, and one of the only extras on there was the theatrical trailer from '96, and it was, you had no fucking clue what that movie was from this trailer. It was just like De Niro, Pacino, like you've never seen them before. Like it was just complete. It was just totally relied on the fact that those two were in it, and it like didn't really reveal anything.
I
Apparently,
miss
the
I miss
original.
when trailers were like that, honestly.
Yeah, no, I mean it's kind of a, so before this is way far astray. Yeah, my wife was showing me this video the other day, and it's a guy that you and I have like shared videos back and forth of, but I can't remember what his name is to credit him. But he was talking about like the best twists in movies, and he mentioned Final Destination 5, right? And I'm not going to spoil,
Oh, I think I saw the same video,
and
yeah.
I'm not going to, you might have sent it to me, and I'm not going to spoil what the twist is. Only to say, because this gives, if anyone's listening to this, the opportunity to watch that movie if you've watched like others in that series but didn't make it to 5. But I was like, after she showed me that, or you showed me that, or whatever, I was like, yeah, the problem is, without like, I would have never watched this movie without there being a cool twist. But now that I know there's a cool twist, I also will not watch this movie. A lot of times a movie will come out and it might have a cool premise, and it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't thing, where depending on how they market it, it's either they don't give away the special thing about it, and therefore I might not see it. But then if they do give it away, I also then don't want to see it because it's already been given
Okay,
away.
okay. I get it. Yep.
And like Predators, but also if you just make an amazing movie. So like Abigail's an example of this, where It's actually a twist partway through the movie that, spoiler alert, she's like a vampire. I have heard that's a great movie, even knowing that part of it.
Yeah.
But can you imagine going into that movie where you think this is a movie about an abduction of a little girl, and all of a sudden she turns into a vampire? That's like the best movie going experience of your life right there. Like that shit
Right.
you'll talk about. And like it's similar to like Barbarian, right? Or Weapons, if you didn't have that ruined for you. Like those type of movies where you go in blind and then something amazing happens and you're like, that's the way you want to see things. But it's hard to do that nowadays.
Yeah. I mean, it almost has to be one of those things where you have to be taken in by a friend
Yeah, you
to
have to
go
be
see
told to.
it. Yeah, exactly. With this though, I think this movie is actually a lot deeper and more well written than your average like shoot 'em up action alien movie or whatever you want to label it as. Because, and I don't know if you caught on to this, but there is such a stark difference between, first of all, building up the macho, like the machoisms of these characters, making them like the most badass, the most fearless sons of bitches ever, right? Like it just, the build up to just how great and like great fighters these people are is pounded into you at the beginning of this movie.
But also to your point, once they get on that helicopter in that scene, they establish each one of these characters so well.
Oh yeah.
It's like they cared about the character development of these guys, and like they wanted you to make you care about them. Even with Shane Black Hawkins, that character's jokes of like, well, why did you say it twice? He's like, I didn't, because it's so big. Like him, Jesse the Ventura, Jesse the Body, the Governor Ventura, Dylan, like that character is really well established. Carl Weathers. I kept Bill Duke was like, why the fuck is he doing that shaving thing? Apparently that was his decision. He was
Oh
like, I'm just going to be
yeah.
constantly shaving. So then on the fly, they had to create this effect of him bleeding because he breaks the razor, which is also really cool. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you know, each one is given their little quirks and whatever, and I think it really works. But the overall theme of the movie is that they are they're like the Expendables before the Expendables, right? They're all the
yeah,
action stars, all the macho, you know, bravado that's within it, just for them to eat a giant piece of humble pie because of this thing that completely outmaneuvers, out strength, like it just topples them. Like they can't even see it coming. And I think the setup for that for Predator is so great. It's there's this one moment in the movie that I was just like, okay, it this movie just took its way to the top for me. You know, when at the beginning of the movie they're all face painted, the camo, right?
yeah,
And it's almost theatrical, the way that the intricacies of like the different greens and everything that Arnold has, and then they're like spending time in the helicopter doing their under eyes and everything like that.
yeah,
It's just for show, right? Like, yeah, it's a little camo, but they go in there and they kill the villagers anyway, no problem, right? At the end of the movie, Arnold has to cover himself in mud, and not a very like a good looking way, not a very aesthetic way, but he has to cover his whole head to toe in mud to survive, like to live. For me, I don't know if I mean, they probably meant to do this, but it was just like such uh, like a character development thing, being like, oh, I'm going to wear this cool makeup and then kick ass, to I have to wear this stuff to live, you know?
yeah. I also think that the way that they juxtapose in the beginning, the predators, the hunted or the hunter, he can see them. They can't see him, the predator. Like no matter what they do. To the end, where Arnold can see the predator and the predator can't see Arnold.
That's
Like
good
no matter
too.
what.
That's good too. Did you notice that when they were in the helicopter, they made a point to show the heat sensors in the helicopter?
Yeah,
And then you don't see the predator, assuming you don't know what's going on in this movie. You see the vision through the predator being heat sensors. If you don't know that that's the predator, that could literally be any enemy
Yeah.
technology looking in on them.
Well, I think that's the point, right, of what they want. There's also so the predator makes a very distinct like clicking noise,
Hmm.
and throughout when there's like little bits where they find the bodies in the beginning or they see this and that, you'll hear the clicking noise because he's like right there. He's right on top of them,
Oh,
and he could kill them all, but he's such a trained warrior that even though he could take them all out at once, that's not his training, right? Arnold alludes to this. It's like we have to sort of take this as canon, even though Arnold doesn't know this for sure, but he knows because he's a warrior too. He's like he's taking us out one by one the way we would. So he takes out one, makes sure he's got that guy, make sure it's safe, goes back and takes his trophy out, which the most badass moment is when he takes Billy's fucking skull out by the spleen, by his
spine.
spine, yeah,
Yeah.
and just swings it around.
I think that's a great moment in the movie as a whole where it shows the predator getting ready, like a montage of him getting ready and then Arnold getting ready.
Yeah. So the original concept apparently for this movie as a joke was the only person Rocky Balboa has yet to fight was E.T. And that is sort of what this is.
That's good.
And then it opens with a shot similar to like The Thing, a spaceship just like hitting, dropping something off at Earth, and like that's how The Thing opens up too, right?
Oh yeah,
Like,
right.
and I didn't realize until deep into the movie when Anna was like, "Yeah, the women in my village talk about when it gets this hot, this starts happening. People start dying. People get hunted, and they call it like the demon something. I have it written down later when we get to it. But that also leads you to believe that this predator got dropped off on Earth for some reason. Maybe his ship was dying, and he's like, "Oh, I found a planet that can sustain my life," and he might have been here for years, just
But
chilling
only
down here.
hunts during the hot seasons.
I guess, yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
My understanding of the predator lore is that they want to find the strongest, the best, so that they can hunt them and kill them and prove to themselves that they are the strongest and the best. And so I took it as he visits Earth every so often to do that.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, I think the movie does a good job of explaining enough. Like it theorizes from our third party perspective of the predator, but it doesn't give you the exact answers, which is I think a good sign for this movie. I mean, the whole beginning we already really talked about, but it's just establishing these characters. I mean, the opening has been memed to death, but Dylan, you son of a bitch, to then, you know, the handshake that's just them like arm wrestling in midair. That meme
So good.
is so perfect. I told you I wanted you and I should have done it as a joke, but we're too far away.
But
Well,
of course, I mean that's part of like just showing each one is super macho. It also shows like it's a just good character development of Carl Weathers' character where he doesn't like to back down.
he doesn't like to back down, but he does eventually, and he's like you don't really get this confirmed until later, but he's out of the game a little bit. He's in more of a leadership role now. But, like in a little bit, he falls down, and Bill Duke comes up to him, Mac, and is like, "If you give away a position again, I'll fucking kill you right now."
Yep. Yep.
So he's out of the game. And the other thing established here is the reason that Dylan lies to him is because he's like, "Why'd you pass on Libya?" And he said, "Because we're not assassins." And this whole mission is an assassination of these guerrillas or whatever, whoever these guys are. I was a little bit confused. I was like, "Are these like?" He's like says it's like CIA, but I guess the CIA guys were the ones who got captured or partially captured or whatever. So
Who got filleted?
those were the Green Beret group that was sent before, that was led by Jim Hopper, which is the inspiration for the name of Hopper in Stranger Things.
Well, Jim Hopper.
Yeah, Jim Hopper in this as well. He's kind
Yeah.
of going through some stuff right now in real life, David Harbour. So,
Is he really?
yeah, his divorce.
No, I thought they were cute together.
You should read up on it. We're not going to talk about it now.
That was bad. It's bad.
She's done a whole album about it, so you can listen to it in song.
I don't know.
So they find the down chopper, I think, is when the movie sort of takes off, and he's like, oh, a heat seeker took it out, they stripped it, killed the pilots. That leads you to believe that it was the guerrillas that did that part, right? So it's kind of like a who did what, the Predator versus the guerrillas. And then he's like, oh, they're also getting this intel from random people in the jungle, I guess, that we don't see. He's like, oh, there were 12 guerrillas that took him, and then they were followed by 6 U.S. soldiers. And Arnold kind of knows that Dylan isn't really telling him everything.
Right.
And then this is the point where they find the 3 skinned alive bodies that are U.S. soldiers, that are the Green Berets. He's like, oh, there's not a single track, but it was like a firefight where they're just shooting in all directions. And those 3 obviously had to be killed by the Predator. Which also, the Predator is sort of a Frankenstein's monster thing, where like that's not his name, but it's become his name because he's not named, and the movie's called Predator. So he's the Predator.
What's his name?
It's I read it was something like ancient and alien
Tom.
like. No, it is Predator, because if you wanted to give him a name, that you should have named him.
Well, like kind of like Alien, right? It's like Alien is not Alien; it's Xenomorphs.
Correct, but he's the
so but it's Alien because you talk. The movie's titled Alien. Speaking of Alien, we will eventually get to Alien versus Predator. And I was looking up, like, when did the Alien franchise become simpatico with the Predator franchise?
It's Predator 2.
What do you mean Predator 2?
So in Predator 2, Danny Glover, I think, finds this is going to be a little bit of a cut. I guess I didn't write it down, but
It looks like there's
hold
like
on.
an alien skull.
Hold on, yeah. In Predator 2, Danny Glover, who is the main guy, Harrigan, discovers the skull of a xenomorph in the Predator spaceship.
What year did Predator 2 come out?
1990.
Interesting. So I'm reading here that in 1990 they began to merge in the comic book because both series were owned, it looks like here, by Dark Horse Presents, which featured a crossover between the two franchises, and then the movies were like, why not?
Well, and also remember we talked about on Prometheus when Alien vs. Predator came out in 2004. Right before that, Jim Cameron wanted to hop back in and make another Alien movie. And then when they did that in the movies, he's like, oh, well, fuck that. And he like, I'm above that. And so then he went and made Blue People movie for the rest of his life.
Right.
Which I like those Blue People movie, but what is Aliens the best James Cameron movie?
Titanic.
Titanic's obviously that won an Oscar and made the most money in the world for the longest time, but that's his best movie. It's a little long.
Do I like it as much as Aliens? No. But could you argue that it's his best movie? Probably.
I think a lot of people would. It's got DiCaprio, so it's got that. But anyway, yeah. So the comics and Predator 2 is the answer to your question. So now we are going to the camp. And right before this, we get the first Predator POV. And as you said, it's like the red light showing the heat signatures. And that could be anyone. Get to the camp. He sees an execution. And they're like, all right, we got to take this camp out. Great scene. Just killing people, taking the camp over.
Another way to show these guys is like, slick execution, fighting styles.
Couple great lines. So Arnold had this huge knife that was designed for him, and in order to get rid of it, he stabbed it in this guy and left it in there, and does the line "stick around" because he just didn't want to have to carry it for the rest of the movie because it was like too cumbersome. And then one of the greatest lines in the movie, "I ain't got time to bleed." Like, it's one I've heard in like popular culture after
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
The follow-up almost just as great. Do you have time to duck? As he shoots the other guy, Pancho shoots the bombs up there. And then we see the Predator like start mimicking the language of the people he's watching, which Billy like sort of hears him doing the laugh and kind of
Yep.
notices it and gets freaked
Yep.
out. And then after this, I think the next important thing is when Anna takes off and Shane Black chases after her and he gets killed. And she just sort of sees like the distortion in the woods.
Also, she's like shook to her core because the guy just gets assassinated in front of her. Like all this blood ends up all over her face and everything.
I love one, how no one can find the green blood but her, which I guess she later on explains, like, you know, her people have experience with that. But two, later on, they like chase after someone like, oh, fuck the girl. And they come back and she's like sitting right there. She's like, I'm not going fucking anywhere.
She realizes quick that they are her best chance of survival. But it
Although,
also doesn't feel like he's wanting her anyways.
well, if she just walked away with no weapons, right? As Arnold points out, he's only attacking people with weapons that he like sees as a threat. So if she just like walked away harmless, he might just like, all right, well, leave her alone. Apparently not explored in this movie, but in the others, Predator has like other vision modes. And so like he can see weapons and stuff like that to know if people are threats.
Right.
So the next death is Ventura just getting lasered through the chest.
He's the one with the giant ass machine gun, right?
Yeah, which is so cool.
The real pinnacle of all of this is when he dies.
Everyone.
I think it's Mac that picks up the machine gun
Yeah, Bill Duke.
and just annihilates the forest, and then everyone starts shooting in the forest. Yeah.
It also looks like Dylan, Carl Weathers, is shooting a little bit from behind them, and it's like, all right, well, be careful that like your bullets don't, you know, go the wrong way.
The alien is a lot less slick than I thought he would be. Like the fact that he got like shot in the leg, started bleeding, and then that like those shots or like some shots later on kind of fucks him up, jumping from branch to branch, and he kind of like slips and falls, right?
I remember that like loud yell he gives after he'd really gotten hit. Well, so when I watched the trailer for Predator Badlands, which I'm really excited for, I'm like, oh, in this original movie, he's like this apex predator hunter. And then in this Badlands, it's like, oh, this is a different predator who's like maybe not as good at his job. This guy, not that great, right? Like,
Right, exactly.
he really just has this like invisibility that like anyone could do really well with if you're just invisible.
I was thinking that. Also, it's like what I kind of love about his invisibility and what this movie does with it is that, you know how sometimes when you're watching a movie and it's someone with invisibility, right?
Yeah.
To make it obvious for the audience, you have this weird texture that comes with this invisibility so that we as the audience can see them.
Yes.
But it's made very clear that in actuality, the people in the movie cannot see them at all.
Right.
There is a like a detexturizing or morph sort of bending that happens with the Predator's invisibility that we see, but also the characters in the movie sees.
Correct. But we are also, as the camera, more focused on a smaller area. So it would be a little bit hard for them to see it.
No, for sure. And I'm not discounting that. I'm just saying that you don't normally, like, I don't know, it made it very clear that though he's invisible, he can be seen.
So I love to, there's not a trace. We hit nothing. And then she finds the blood. There's also just like this really sweet, sappy music as Mac is like mourning the friend, Jesse Ventura.
Yep.
Gotta say, his wound, Jesse Ventura's wound in his chest, was really well done.
The hole?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good. And then after this, you know, like Billy's like, we are all gonna die. And we get the fake out pig attack. but then Blaine's body is gone. It almost makes you feel like the predator killed the pig and like threw it at him or something, or like wounded the pig and threw it at them to distract them so that he could get Blaine's body.
But the pig was alive.
I know, but it, like I said, that's why I said wounded.
Oh, so you think he like kind of pushed him
Cut him a
that
little
way?
bit, threw him in there. I don't know. It seems convenient that he used it as a distraction. This is when Arnold realizes the trees are doing it. He's using the
Oh,
trees to get to us. It's
yeah.
not the trees are doing it like the happening, but there's then a Home Alone 2 montage of them setting up booby traps.
We get two of those.
We do. I like the next one because I was like, dude, they didn't work the first time. Why do you think it's going to work this time? And then for it to be a decoy, the one to be so obvious to decoy him to go the other way is very smart. It's a cool idea.
It
And
is a cool idea, and it's like chess, right? It's
yeah,
like he moves one piece, he sees it, he moves over to the side, but that's a trap too.
yeah. And I like too when Anna shows them the blood, and he's like, "If it, Arnold's like, if it bleeds, we can kill it." Oh, and this is what
Another great line.
the Predator's name is: the demon who makes trophies of men, which is pretty fucking a great fucking name. Probably even cooler in Spanish. You know what? Then the booby traps did work though, right? Because Arnold goes out into the center thinking, "Oh, they're not working," and then like behind him, the Predator just gets like pulled up in one of the traps. He's like, "What the fuck?" And then just,
Yeah,
like, starts
that's
shooting
true.
randomly.
That's true.
Yeah. So then Bill Duke gets killed with the three. He sees the three dots and then it's like, let me just move my head into the way of it. And the way the Predator's just standing above him as he fucking executes him.
Well, he's so sure that he sees him, right?
Yeah.
And he's like concentrates on that and he takes his eyes off of it. There's a couple of cool quotes at that point too. It's his let me carve my name into him.
Yeah.
And then there's also the let me have some fun, let me have some fun, let me have some fun.
Apparently Bill Duke said that for the longest time after that, like when he went into like his local convenience store, they would always people working there would say that to him. Let me have some fun. Let me have some fun. Just like to messing with him. And he's like, did not enjoy that. So Dylan chases after, gets his arm shot off, and the gun keeps shooting as his arm gets shot off.
Yeah.
Then tries to use the other one, gets fucking filleted through with the Predator, basically the Wolverine, like
The
metal.
the knife hands,
Yeah,
yeah.
this is like the part I really remember though, is Billy throwing down his gun, pulling out the knife, cutting himself, and just like preparing. You're like, oh wow, it's so badass. And then you just see the Predator viewing him from behind, and you're like, oh fuck. And then you just hear Billy screaming like this guttural, "I'm being murdered" scream.
I like how it's just Anna and Arnold. Like those are the last two. They're walking through the forest. He does the famous "get to the chopper."
Get to the chopper. He actually does it twice. And the first time I heard it, I was like, oh, how did that become such a huge? And then he does it again. I was like, that's the one. That's the one
Yeah,
right there.
that's the one. So she walks off unscathed, like you said,
Yeah.
and it sends, Arnold to do a 1v1 with the Predator.
Yeah, well, he falls into the water and then he gets mud all over himself and he's just sitting there waiting to be killed. And he's like, oh shit, he can't see me. Which apparently Mythbusters was like, that would only work for like a few seconds before like your body temperature would warm the mud up and they could see you again.
Let's just have this one, huh?
Yeah, no, yeah, fuck you guys. You don't have to ruin everything. So he gets all the booby traps ready, gets his bow and arrow ready, and then he starts a fire and he does this scream to let the Predator know, like, let's fucking go to war. This whole last bit is so cool. And I already talked about the fact that they've sort of switched roles right now as like hunter and prey, even though like the Predator, more powerful, he does, he has his weapons, whereas Dutch doesn't. It's still the element of surprise is so key in this movie. The fact that like who can be seen and who can't be.
The bridge, like the log bridge, and like Arnold holding the bottom, like being
Yeah.
underneath it. That was so great.
Yeah. It's so good. Then like using the rock to like get the he uses the rock to get the predator to shoot so that he reveals his location.
Yeah. Yep.
So good. And then he takes his mask off the predator and it's Jean-Claude Van Damme.
No, stop.
The reading up on all the like, so they created this first suit and it was more like bug like, and it was like it was supposed to be for Jean-Claude Van Damme, and the guys making it were like, hey, you're asking us to make this, but we're telling you right now you're not going to be able to do what you want with it. Like, you're not going to have JCVD do all of his moves with the thing you're asking us to make. But they made the suit they were asked to make, and then Jean-Claude Van Damme was like, this sucks. I can't do what you're asking me. It's
Right.
hot. I hate it here. Apparently he was like throwing up all the time because of how hot it was in the fucking suit. So then the guys they had make the suit, which I don't have his name written right here, they came to him and they're like, we need this in like 2 weeks. And the guy was like, all right, I'll give it to you in 2 weeks. And all the people that work with him were like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why did you promise that this is going to kill us? And I guess they were all working on like another movie at the time. And I'll look it up while we're talking. But it was kind of like a, was it Lion King and what the other movie was situation where like, it was like Disney thought this was going to be the good movie, but then everyone who had to work on this. So this guy was like, the reason I want to work so hard on this and get this to them in 2 weeks is because I know this is going to be a huge fucking movie. And now, like, it's not the most iconic thing in the world, but Predator, that look is pretty fucking iconic. Like, people know what that is.
Well, I mean, the way you go from like a bug suit, I've seen the bug suit and it's all right, it's fine. But then have like, okay, this is what the predator looks like. But wait, he takes his mask off and he looks like a whole nother fucked up thing, right? And that's another great quote is, "You're one ugly motherfucker."
You're one ugly motherfucker. That's also like a Commando quote, I think, too.
Is it? I don't think so. Really?
You're one ugly. Yeah, I think Arnold says it to Bill Duke.
Maybe. So the predator takes off his mask, which we don't even know that's a mask, right? Like that could be his face for all we know.
Yes.
He takes off his mask and it's this really well constructed, what is it, like a rubber face, like alien face with little tendrils and stuff like that, which
Yes.
I heard that the director, the producer got inspiration from someone they met on an airplane flight.
Yeah, James Cameron.
Yeah, it was James Cameron, right?
Yeah, which is funny how he then went to shit on Predators, like, get that out of my Alien movie.
But yeah, he came up with like the tendrils and stuff like that, which I thought was cool.
It is. And I mean, as I said, it's become like a pretty iconic look too, with the dreads and everything like that. So, I mean, we already sort of talked about how this ends, right? Where he he tricks him with one trap, and the predator just sort of like touches the sharp things, and he's like, "You thought this was going to get me?" Goes around, and then just a huge fucking tree falls on him, and then he starts moving it, and you're like, "Is this guy gonna fucking get up?"
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I love the quote from Arnold. "Come on, do it, kill me, I'm here."
That was pretty good.
Stuff. Thank you. I hurt my throat doing that. I was just reading this thing, so I didn't even know Glenn Powell was in one of the Expendables movie, but he told the story recently about how he almost got kicked off the Expendables movie because they were doing a team picture and one of the guys wasn't in it, and the guy's name was like Garcia something. He's like, "Garcia, get to the photo." And Arnold just looks at him, and then apparently Stallone turns around. He's like, "What are you doing?" Like, you're not big enough to do that.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So he says something, and then the predator. What does he say? Because the predator repeats it to him. He's standing over the predator with the rock about to bash his head in, and he says something. Oh, he looks at the predator, like his weird alien face, and he goes, "What are you?" To which the alien responds back to Arnold, "What are you?"
Yeah.
Like, Like no human has ever defeated me. You're like another league of their own, which I mean, look at Arnold back then. Of course he was. And then oh, by the way, there's a shot of Arnold. He's wearing aviators. He's smoking a cigar and he's coming out of the chopper at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah,
And he
I
just
wrote that
looks
down.
like
He's
the most badass dude.
I wrote he's trying to look cool and he fucking succeeded. Yeah. I also
Well,
love
yeah, so it's the what are you and then the self-destruct button, which
what
if that was me, I would die because I would have no fucking idea what he was doing.
yeah, well, except it makes the noise the beeping makes the noise of a bomb going off. It's like beep, 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 beep. Like
Oh
it's
yeah.
the human, it's the which is a weird thing to be. He also imitates Billy's laugh, and then you're like unsure how big this explosion is going to be, but it's like a nuclear blast,
Right.
and you can see it. The picture from the chopper is such a cool shot. You're like,
It is
holy
a cool
fuck.
shot. It's also like they do a lot of stuff here, right? Like the predator doesn't like to lose, so he self-destructs, and the explosion is so big, he's hoping to take whoever defeated him with him to the grave, right?
Yeah,
But it also signals the chopper exactly where Arnold is in all this jungle.
yep. And then right at the end, Arnold gets in the chopper with Anna, and then the music like starts to intensify, like something's about to happen, and then it just cuts. And it does like the A team
Yeah.
showing all the
Like they
guys.
all stop and smile and look at the camera while their names are flashed on the screen, except for Arnold, because I think that just he's like, I'm not doing that.
I don't smile. Yeah, it's so cool. It is like such a cheesy, nice touch. By the way, so Stan Winston is the guy who decided to take on the Predator project. He worked for K&B FX, and he said that the team was just a small team working on Predator, and he was like, we were the redheaded stepchildren of the studio because everyone else wanted to work on the Monster Squad. And his quote was like, "Have you heard about the Monster Squad lately?" He's like, "Yeah, it's a cult movie. I know, I've heard about the movie, so I know about the Monster Squad." But he was like, "But the Predator became iconic," and he's like,
Now,
"So I made the right choice."
didn't Shane Black have something to do with the Monster Squad also?
No, you fucking idiot.
No, wait. He wrote it. You idiot, you dumbass.
I know, setting you up.
No, okay, so he wrote the Monster Squad and he was on like he acted in Predator. This guy was like, which Shane Black movie's really gonna take off?
The Monster Squad. That's funny. I mean, the Monster Squad is something that I would be down to eventually do.
Have you seen it?
No,
Oh, I watched it a couple years ago. It is pretty good.
it was written by Shane Black and Fred Decker.
Yep.
So we're in fun fact territory. I'm gonna run through these because there is a lot. Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think this is a quote that he said forever ago, but it sort of became popular again, or a story he told. He told the wardrobe department to tell Jesse Ventura that Jesse Ventura's arms were bigger than Arnold's. So Jesse
Right.
Ventura comes in and is like, "Oh, my arms are bigger than yours." He's like, "Really? Let's see." And they measure him, and Arnold's were bigger. And Arnold was just like, "Yeah, it's just that thing you do to get an edge on people." And it's like, you're in a fucking movie. You're not fighting tomorrow. You're just a movie.
Have you ever heard of that thing? It reminds me of like what someone tells you to do when you meet
The
like your
bully.
ex's like your ex's boyfriend or something, and it's like, oh, if you're what is it? If you're 6 foot, just say you're 5'10".
Right. So then Jesse Ventura, I don't know if this was before or after, but he pulled a prank where he like poured water of himself at the gym. So Arnold came and saw him and he's like, "Oh shit, he's been working out forever. Fuck. I got it." So then they both just started coming in at like 4 a.m. to outwork out each other. But then I also read Arnold said that he lost like 25 pounds for this movie because he wanted to be skinnier. Like he wanted to be leaner like a Green Beret. And I was like, he did look smaller than Commando. Commando, he looked fucking ginormous compared to this.
I mean,
Uh,
he didn't look small. He looked lean, like he looked cut.
yeah, I know, I understand.
And in Commando, I think what the word you're looking for is he bulked up.
Okay.
Those are in the workout community. Those are the
Those are the
linguistics.
terms. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You hang out with the people a lot. So the mandibles were the idea of James Cameron, who stated, I've always wanted to see something with mandibles. And Stan Winston was like, that's good. That's good shit I'm going to see. He apparently also saw a picture of like a Rastafarian warrior or something and was like, dreads. I'm going to take those too. So Shane Black spent his free time on the set writing the screenplay for The Last Boy Scout. Yeah. The film originally wanted a Native American soldier as the lead, which I think probably just became the movie Prey. This is the film debut of your boy Shane Black. The Predator's blood is a mix of liquid from inside glow sticks and KY jelly.
Also with a hint of CGI, because apparently that didn't glow enough.
Yeah, right. So these were the directors that were asked to do this movie that turned it down. Ridley Scott, James Cameron, Brian De Palma, Richard Donner, John Milius, John Carpenter, and Rennie Harlan.
John Carpenter is getting some heat because he came out recently saying that he hated every moment of The Substance.
Yeah. I mean, like, he's entitled to his opinion.
Sure.
So in the comics, the sequel to Predator is Predator Concrete Jungle, and it centers on Dutch's brother, John Schaefer, who was a New York City cop. This just sounds like John McClane meets the Predator, which is like a movie we fucking should have had. We could have had that.
Like actual John McClane?
Well, I mean, it's a New York City cop named John who's who fights the Predator in New York, right?
Yeah.
Could have been a thing. Should have been a thing. So this is such a weird movie that I have not watched to me because I was such a Schwarzenegger guy growing up. The fact that like Commando became a big one for me and that I didn't watch this, I really just have to blame like on my family for not showing to me. It's just such a good movie, and it's not cheesy good. It's not corny good. It is such a good movie.
That is what surprised me the most coming out of this was that like how solid of a film this is, and it doesn't rely on it's an action movie in the 80s. It's going to be passable. I feel like there are moments that it goes above and beyond to actually try to be a fucking good movie.
And it succeeds. So, well, thanks for listening to another episode of I Finally Watched. This is David.
And this is Alon, and we finally watched
Predator.